This is the 2019 Ram 1500 Limited, and today we're going to be showing you all the quirks and features.
This truck is outfitted with the 5.7 liter Hemi with the e-torque, 48 volt mild hybrid system. This truck outputs 395 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. And again, that mild hybrid system also comes with the batteries behind the seats in the rear, as well as an auto start system that stays off for a very, very long time. You can be sitting in a drive-through at a stoplight for probably even 5 minutes, and it would stay off. So impressive system, and it gives you 16 horsepower and 130 pound-feet of torque from this hybrid system. Now this truck is outfitted with the air suspension, which means that it can lower itself to a very easy in and out position, or it can raise itself all the way up to this off-road 2 is what it's called position. So this is the highest this truck can be, and with just a touch of the key you can lower it, or you can click a little button on the inside, which I'll show you later, and it lowers it down to the access level, which makes it much easier to get in. You might be able to see it going here. You can hear the motors, but it's just going down an exponential amount. Now we go around to the back of the truck with the new aluminum tailgate. So it's very, very lightweight, and you can actually open it from the cab, or you can open it from the key here. So I'm gonna lower the tailgate here, and it just goes automatically down. And it's super, super light, as I mentioned, being aluminum, and it's it feels very sturdy. It's a 5'7" bed on this particular one, 5'7" crew cab, and you have some nice LED lighting in here that can be turned on and off from the bed, from the cab, obviously. And unlike the last generation, the fourth generation Ram, it doesn't have the big Ram on it. I mean, the Power Wagon and the Rebel still do, but this one, it has a more clean-cut design. This new polygonal Ram symbol rather than the old, more rounded, cornered one. You also, of course, have LED license plate lights here. You have LED tube lights on the back, which makes for a very nice look. So yeah, that's all you need to know about the bed. The limited version of this truck, you do get an optional 22-inch wheel, which looks very nice with that granite crystal looking inserts here with the silver. It's a very high quality wheel, looks very nice. And then also you have the gas cap here, or well, the gas door. It doesn't have a cap, it's a capless system, which I love. And it's a 33-gallon tank. We generally get around 14 to 16 miles per gallon city, and we've gotten over 20 on the highway. So for what it is, a fairly good fuel economy. So getting to the headlights on this Limited, the Laramie Longhorn has these SIM headlights, but they are LED, of course, and they are very, very bright. They're turning lights, so when you turn a corner, you can see them turning, especially on like a 2-lane road. There's a very nice beam pattern and color. The DRLs here look very nice in the daytime, as well as that LED marker light right there. Looks all great and dandy. You go over to the grill here. This is a special grill for the Limited model, which I think looks very nice. All these grills openings have louvers on the inside that open and close to get better fuel economy on the highway and whatnot. You also have some chrome tow hooks up here up the front and some LED fog lights. Into the 1500, you have keyless entry and greeted by these nice power steps, which are a nice touch. You have nice stitching on the door panels, as well as this wood that looks like it has a stitching, and everything is soft touch for the most part on this door. Nice stitching here. This has the 19-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, and you have cup holders in the doors here, and that's about it for the door frame. Stepping into the truck, it's a very nice place to be. Again, you see that, like I mentioned earlier, that polygonal style on the Ram logo. Here you have all your controls for this screen right up in here, and you also have voice controls and your phone controls. And you have that same stitched look right here. You have stitching on the steering wheel, and again, that same stitched look right here. This is your controls for your adaptive cruise control, or if you want to use just normal cruise control, you have that. This right here is your gear limiter. It's great for towing if you're going in the mountains or something like that. You can limit it to, let's say, 5th gear, so it keeps it revved up so it doesn't play around with the gears too much. This center screen is very nice. I love it. It shows all kinds of vehicle info, speedometer, you know, tire pressures, your air suspension, which I think this is a funny quirk about this car. I know I'm copying Doug DeMuro here, but this normal suspension is what it's called when you click right, if you see right there in the bottom left. But if you look in the middle, it says suitable for most suspensions, air suspension, which I think is kind of funny. Then you have coolant temp, oil temps, transmission temps, all what you'd expect from all of this, battery voltage. And actually, this is another interesting feature. It shows you not only your drive time and idle time, but this is interesting also just because it's engine hours. So that's kind of something I like, just to know if it's been idling its whole life, you know, like a police car would, for instance. Then you have the driver assistance page, so if you have your adaptive cruise control on, your lane keep assist, all of that information will be right here, as well as fuel economy statistics and whatnot, your range. We're at about a little bit under 3/4 of a tank. We have pretty good range. Generally, you get 450 miles of range out of this in the city. It shows your different trip info, trip A and B, of course. Then you have your stop-start system information, kind of useless. Your trailer tow. You have your trailer brake right down here, and it's just like this, and you can adjust the gain right here, and all of the trailer brake pressure is right there. Then it shows your audio, what music you're playing, if you know if something was playing on the radio, for instance. Let's go to on this massive 12.3, you know, huge screen, doesn't really matter. It's just huge. It's got a Sirius XM here, and it shows that right there. And then it shows any messages if you have your phone connected with text messages. Then you can set up different things on the screen in the different hemispheres of right here, right over there where it says the miles per gallon, and then here, and of course over there. So you can adjust all that, which I really like. Yeah, so that's all of the functionality of this menu. And onto the 12-inch screen that I mentioned earlier. This thing is absolutely massive. It feels so much like a Tesla screen when you're using it, and it's running the newest Uconnect software, which is actually very, very good. I've used it in multiple cars now, and I love it. So, you know, you can have your audio on screen, obviously. You can have controls for your, you know, vented, heated seats, heated wheel, all these different functions as you see here. You can also go to your climate settings, turn all of that on, off. You can get to the control menu, like I said, from here. You can also control your climate right here if you like buttons more. And you can, so this is all for climate right here. And then you have, of course, volume and all that here. So if you like buttons, there are buttons still, not a ton of them, but yeah. And then since we're talking about buttons, I might as well talk about all these auxiliary switch looking things. This one's for the air suspension. 3 is the normal mode, 1 is the lowest, and then 5 is the highest for reference. And they, you know, there are ones in the middle of those. And then we have traction control off, tow haul mode, then the parking sensors off and on. So, you know, if you're close to something and you know don't want it on because it's beeping and you know you're close to something, you can turn it off right here, which I love. If you're towing a trailer, I love that feature that you can turn it off so easily. Back to the screen. You have your apps menu, which shows everything that you can do with this basically, and then you have your navigation system here, and I'll show this here. It's pinch and zoom, which I love, and you can scroll, and you can just see for, I mean, so long, or for such a long road, I mean, it's just crazy how far you can see with this. Then you have your surround view camera. I love this camera. It's very nice having it in a truck like this since it's so hard to park. You have this wide camera view for the rear cross path. You have the front cross path. You have the normal front view, and then the rear front view, or excuse me, the rear regular view, I'm sorry, with the backup line, so if you move the steering wheel, that adjusts. Then you have your towing camera where you can, if you're, you know, hooking up to your trailer hitch, you can zoom in here. Makes it much easier to hook it up. You also have your top 360 camera, which makes it super easy to park this massive vehicle. You also, when you're in the camera, you also have the controls menu here for some reason, I don't know why. But right here, you can also split your screen. Like let's say you want navigation right here. You can put navigation right here. You can have your favorite locations here as well. You can also have, for instance, music here, or you can flip these if you'd like to. You can change this app if you want this to be SiriusXM Travel Link and you want to look at your weather, or if you want to go to your controls for your AC system. It's, you know, many possibilities for this. So I really like this system, and it has a lot of functionality. Now on to one of the most controversial topics of this vehicle, actually, is this shifter. I personally love it. It gets so much hate in the community, and I don't know why. It is great. People are saying, well, we can just do this on the highway instead of the volume. I mean, that's pretty hard to do, honestly. Like, it's way, I mean, you can't do that. It'll lock you out from doing that as well. I mean, there's no way to do it. You can turn your auto start and stop off and on right here. You can change to four-wheel drive, and if you have an electronic locking rear differential, you can have this control right here. This one does not have that, unfortunately. And speaking of that, this has the 321 gears, so you can get 392s and a couple other, I think. A couple other little details I like. You have these little LEDs in here and in the corner over there. Just little accent lights that I like. All the interior lights on top of that are LED, so very bright cabin with these on. And you can open this top glove box here. Also another nice LED in there, a lot of nice storage. And then also, for some reason this has a halogen bulb. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it doesn't, no matter. It has a nice glove box as well. Onto this console area. I love this console. It's awesome. It's very adjustable. You can put this here, or like that, or you can put it all the way back if you don't have a cup in there, and this hides away to have this massive storage area. You can put a phone here. This is a wireless charging pad, so any wireless charging enabled phone with the key chargers go right here. Or is it Qi? I don't know. Qi key, whatever it's called, QI, can go right here. Then you have another dock for a phone where you can run a cable right here and charge it as well. I have a 115 household outlet right here. You also have a top version, or top partition, excuse me, of the console with the USB right here. And it has a limited symbol on here and nice stitching, which I like. Nice touch. Then the bottom partition is another interesting feature. It shows different conversions into the metric and imperial system, a protractor out of all things, ruler, just interesting things. Then you also have a change sorter here. We actually don't use that. We use just a little change bucket. But if you would like to use that change sorter, you can. All this can close as well, so you can, you know, make this look pretty clean if you need to, want to. So that's nice. But nice big cup holders here. This car actually has 12 cup holders in it, which is crazy. Then in the console, there's not a massive console actually, like size-wise, but there is this little place right here where this opens up into this giant area over here. So really, this whole thing is a console. So in retrospect, it really is huge. So that's pretty cool. But that's the front of this cabin. So now we'll move to the rear. Okay, now we're in the back of the truck. I am 6'3", and this front seat is all the way back. I am more than comfortable. I can stretch my legs out pretty good here. You have heated and ventilated seats in the back, so you can click this when the engine's on. This is heated, ventilated. You have nice I/O ports here, 2 USB-A, 2 USB-C, another 115 volt household style outlets. Of course, 2 air vents here, a small storage area right here, which I really like. You have nice little details everywhere in this truck, like the stitching. I don't know if you can see that. There's some more stitching here, nice pocket with stitching and a nice tubing. Another speaker for the 19 speaker system, like I was saying. More of this nice stitching on the door, in the back even. Even the grab handles have leather and stitching on them, which is quite crazy, I think. This has the panoramic sunroof option, which I love. It's a great option. And this does not have the transmission tunnel run all the way back here, thankfully. So this is a flat floor like an electric car. So very comfortable to have 3 people in the back here. You can fold this down, and this is a center console with 2 nice cup holders here that are big, and a very small storage area. You can put, you know, something small, phone, something pretty flat. But I actually have found it useful for some things, just not very often, honestly. But This, of course, becomes a nice middle seat, which is very comfortable. I'd say 3 people back here. I've had many occasions where I've had 3 people back here, and they've all been comfortable the whole ride. More with the speakers, you have speakers above your head, which, you know, I know some people that do not like the sound of them up there because it's like one is in one ear. You actually have the best stereo experience if you're in the middle seat back here, believe it or not. But I happen to like them. It's just personal preference. But that's about it for the back seat. Very comfortable and nice place to be. This truck has some good storage as well in the back seat, which is pretty cool. You can lift up the floor mat here, and this reveals this little area right here, which can hold this little case here pretty well. Put things in there. It's pretty handy if you want to hide something, especially for small items. You can also fold these rear seats back at a 60-40 configuration. Excuse me, fold them up, is what I meant to say. Reveal some storage. We have stuff back here all the time. It's very nice. You can also lean these seats back. You can recline them, which I like. I can't really demonstrate it right now because it's kind of hard to do with one person, but there's this handle right here, and it scoots forward, and this goes back at a pretty good angle, so that's very nice. The floor mats here are nice. They're rubber, and they are a fabric trim. You can actually see these little rivet looking pins here. You can unhook these, and these turn into all rubber floor mats, which I really like, because if you're going to go into any condition where you don't want to get your fabric floor mats dirty or anything, you're not going to with this system. So very nice storage and practicality here. That is the 2019 Ram 1500 Limited. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't like it. I mean, I'm gonna hop on the bandwagon of saying that. I've heard a few YouTubers say that already. So thank you, and peace out.